offering applicable professional development strategies for Gen Zs and millennials through workshops and one-on-one consultation. He has spoken at institutions such as Boston University, the University of Pittsburgh, and other academic institutions on topics such as acing your interview, winning your negotiations, and the art of relationship building. He is striving to build a professional presence of this generation, as he realized that the generic professional advice that usually is given out is outdated, as we know, and does not relate to this digital age. He's experienced this firsthand during his first year of business school when he could not land an internship. Now Chris is on a mission to share how he's turned his professional development journey around the next generation. Ladies and gentlemen, warm welcome to Chris Stack.
Check. This next 45 minutes belongs to you all right? For the next 45 minutes, I am a resource. Any question, whether it be off topic, on topic, it is up to you. No question is a stupid one, as they would say. So if you have a burning question, make sure you stand up, get my attention. And again, as we have done before, state your name, state what you're possibly interested in. If you're not interested in a particular subject, that's fine. State what school you are attending and state where you're from, and they will answer your question. So I want to start this off with a story. About 4 years ago, when I was going to get my MBA at University of Pittsburgh, I was visiting the school. It was a chilly March day. Pittsburgh doesn't get really warm in the springtime. So I met one of my incoming classmates. Let's call him Joe. See, Joe was a smart individual, has his bachelor's and master's in chemistry, so his background could really apply to different subjects. He could have been in consumers packaged goods, working at Procter & Gamble, or he could have worked at a PepsiCo, working with chemicals. He could have worked in oil and gas, right? He could have been down in Dallas, Houston, working in oil and gas, because chemicals, oil is made out of chemicals. A lot of chemical engineers go that route. Or he could have possibly worked in pharmaceuticals, right? Because y'all know the drugs that we take, whether that be Advil, penicillin, all of these have chemicals in it. But he was using his MBA to round out his business acumen, his business knowledge. So I was rooting for Joe. We were all rooting for Joe. Fast forward 3 to 4 months later, we're at this huge conference, similar to this one. You see these little tables out here where Clemson University, health sciences, political science, peer-wise. Just envision some of the top companies that you could think. PepsiCo, Nike, Under Armour, the NFL, the NBA, Microsoft, Amazon, all these different types of companies were at this one conference. But the wrinkle in the story is that we weren't there alone. There were thousands and thousands of MBA candidates that were also in the room. They were also vying and competing for the same internships, the same jobs as we were. So I'm a competitor at heart. I'm an athlete. I played football in college at Murray State University. Unfortunately, unlike CJ, I didn't go to the NFL, but we all have our different tracks, right? I'm a competitor at heart, and I see all these thousands of individuals that are vying, that are competing for the same jobs that I want. I want to work at Nike. I want to work at Amazon. I want to work at these big companies, right? But my competitive nature clicks in. So when they cut the ribbon, they start letting people come into the expo center and talk to these companies where you want. I go in. I go ham, as we used to say. I don't know what y'all say, right? I was teed up. Did y'all still say that? No? Crickets, right? What you say? What you say? What you say when you turned up? I'm finna go crazy. Finna go crazy. Listen, I was finna go crazy, and I did. That's exactly what I did. Talked to about 5 or 6 companies in under 45 minutes. 3 or 4 companies offered me interviews on the spot. But I started getting a little parched. I wanted to get a drink of water, get a snack, because 45 minutes of nonstop talking, that's a hard thing to do. And I've been through some hard times playing football, 2 a days, all that. But talking for 45 minutes, make sure you are dotting your I's and crossing your T's with making every single word count. It's a hard thing to do. So I go to the bathroom, get a drink of water, and I see Joe sitting on the side of the room. I said, let me go holler at my man Joe. So I check in with Joe, and as I get closer, I see the sweat dripping down his face. And as I get really closer, I see the sweat coming through his light blue suit. I'm like, this man is nervous. So I walk over to Joe. I said, Joe, what's going on? How is the first hour or so going for you? He was like, Chris, listen, I talked about 2 companies. The outcome wasn't what I was expecting. I think I'm done for the day. So think about how much it costs to attend a conference. Most of you didn't have to pay for this conference, but some of you did, or some of your counselors possibly did. Think about the flights. Think about the hotels. Think about just the ticket price of going to a conference where all these companies are at. $1,000 down the drain because he let the first 2 companies scare him out of the interview. But why is interviewing, this is a real question, why is interviewing, why is having a professional conversation, why is it so tough? Real question. Why is it, I don't need a brave soul, my man right here. Because you may be intellectually challenged. Okay, I can take that, and that's very valid, my man. Scared to get critiqued. Nobody wants to be judged. And nobody wants to be judged unfairly. And unfortunately, just call a spade, black and brown men, unconscious bias. Many speakers have talked about it today, and I won't go into that rabbit hole, but it's a real thing.
Too many formalities, you may think that you can't be yourself in there.
Too many formalities, 1, and 2, can I be myself in the interview? Real. We'll take one more. Lack of confidence, right? Go to your point. Can I be myself? If I'm myself, I'm confident, right? But there's a thing called imposter syndrome where you walk into a room, nobody looks like you, right? Can they even relate to me? Can we talk the same language? And we already have our unconscious bias ourselves. So we walk into a room that is an unfamiliar environment. It's an imposter syndrome sets in, right? Lack of confidence. But I want to go back to being critiqued, right? When you walk into an interview in any professional conversation, some of you may not even want to work for a company. Some of you may want to start your own. Hands up if you want to be an entrepreneur of some kind. Hands up high. I can't see them. It's a bright light right here. Okay? About 50% of you want to be an entrepreneur of some kind. So to that 50% that's in here, you may say, I'm not going to work for a Microsoft. I'm not going to work for a Nike. I want to be a big baller brand. I want to make my own shoes. I want to make my own clothes. I want to make my own music. I want to be an entrepreneur. However, most entrepreneurship ventures only succeed with what? I think some people doing this. What's this called? What's it called in the business world? Capital. Venture capital. So one tidbit about interviewing, you might just think I'm just coming to interview at the local gas station or interview at a Fortune 50 company. But interviewing ties to getting venture capital. Because after you make your pitch, this is the problem, this is the solution, they're going to start asking you questions, and that's when the interview starts. So you may say, I'm never going to use this skill set, but you will. Either way, whether you work for somebody else, whether you do your own thing.